Dedicated to the Rossendale Valley, this is your very own Rossendale Radio.
It's 104.7 Rossendale Radio, Valley Breakfast. It's 6 minutes past 8. Very much hope you're well this morning. Now, a word that we have dealt with an awful lot during the last 12 months is the word empathy. And it's a word that's often misunderstood. It's often thought of like sympathy, just feeling sorry for people. But empathy is something very, very different indeed. And I've got the absolute pleasure this morning of being joined by the founder of Empathy Lab, Miranda McKearney, who's on the line now. Good morning, Miranda.
Hi, morning.
Now, it's a very exciting day for you at Empathy Lab today because today is the launch of your book collection. Before we start with the book collection, do you want to just tell us who Empathy Lab are and why we really need this understanding of what empathy really means?
Yeah, so Empathy Lab is a very small social enterprise, not-for-profit organisation dedicated to spreading the skill and understanding of empathy, particularly with young people. Mm-hmm. And we want to see an empathy revolution. Think that the younger generation, the amazing younger generation, are the people to lead it and lead us into a more caring and less divided world. And empathy is such a key quality. If we can understand each other better, see each other's points of view, the world is going to be a very much better place.
And we've seen that so much recently with people like Marcus Rashford stepping up, talking about putting yourself in other people's shoes, and whether it be about food banks, or I think he's got a big push on reading at the moment as well, which is wonderful, especially in relation to the news you've got this morning about the Read for Empathy collection. How is reading and empathy? How do those two things come together?
Yeah, well, it's absolutely brilliant. The scientific research showing that when we read and we identify with the emotions of book characters, what happens in our brain is that we experience that as if it's real. So it's like a sort of simulation of the social world, and it means that we can learn through reading to understand other people better who aren't us. And for children in particular, it's a very safe way of learning through the safe distance of literature. And every year, Empathy Lab publishes in January the collection for the year, which is used all year in homes and schools and libraries and scouts groups and anywhere where reading happens. And the absolutely brilliant thing is that as a child is reading, they can also simultaneously be building their empathy skills. And what I find really inspiring is that the science shows we're not just born with a fixed quantity of empathy. It's a skill, and all of us can get better at it at any point in our lives. So these books that we're launching today, there's 50 of them.
It's a big wide range of authors as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It's there are 30 books for primary age children, 4 to 11, and 20 for secondary age children. And we've been, the judges, who are the most expert bunch ever, have been reading since May. So this is the fruits of our labour, and people will find a wonderful, wonderful range of picture books and poetry and novels and graphic novels, all of which will help expand children's worldview.
Oh, it's just wonderful. And you talk about that judging process, and you've whittled it down to 50 books, and the number of books that must have been read by the judges must have been insane, because you've got all of the major publishers are on board with Empathy Lab. I think there's a real sort of sense of the publishing industry getting behind empathy, and as you say, starting this empathy revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. And so publishers submit just so many books, and then we have to whittle them down. But it's very exciting actually to see the books that are coming through from publishers and see such thought given to what is empathy building. And there are very different ways of looking at that. So it might be a book about somebody in a refugee situation, or it might be something much more kind of softer and more domestic, just helping a child explore their feelings and understand how other people might be experiencing something like friendship difficulties.
Well, it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, I'm just looking through the primary collection. It's literally been released in the last 10 minutes or so on the Empathy Lab UK website. And there's books here by Richard O'Neill, The Lost Homework, which focuses on a traveller child in the travelling community. There's poems by Joseph Coelho. There's all sorts of, there's novels, verse novels. A wonderful book here by Jenny Pearson, which I know is a favourite of yours, The Super Miraculous Journey of Freddie Yates. That's a wonderful book.
Yes,
there's just all sorts of fantastic books here. Where can we sort of find out more about the collection?
So if you're on Twitter, follow at Empathy Lab UK. Otherwise, just go to our website, which is empathylab.uk, and you'll find everything you need to know on there. And there's details also of training for librarians and teachers, and news about what else we're up to, which is a lot at the moment. Planning for Empathy Day on June the 10th, which is a huge explosion of activity around empathy.
Well, there you go. We do the national days here on Valley Breakfast. Myself and Peter Sweetmore, who share the show, we always do a national day. So Empathy Day, I think we might be able to sneak it in this year. We'll see what we can do.
Oh, please do. That would be great.
We'll get the whole radio community empathising as well. Thank you very much, Miranda, for your time this morning, and best of luck with the new Read for Empathy collection.
Thank you very much.
We'll speak to you again soon. In the meantime, that makes us all very happy. Here's Pharrell Williams.